We're now recording our first session of 3 clients in 30 days. And I have some opening statements, and then we're going to discuss some of what's in the book if you didn't get it and read the first 1 or 2 chapters. So, and remind everybody, talk into microphones if you're going to make a comment. That way the online folks in the recording can pick this up. When I first started reading this, and unfortunately it was last night, and I started seeing some of the stuff she was opening up with, I thought, well, this is the same kind of stuff we talk about all the time. This is nothing new. Well, I want to refocus you a little bit. And first, I want to give you the premise. If I was to pick up my business today as a real estate agent and move to a new city where I'd never been before, where I don't know anybody, I don't know how to get around, I know the Knopperts have done that. If I didn't have a sphere of influence, if I didn't have any contracts, no listings, what would I do to end up with 3 clients in the first 30 days? Because that's hard to do. Chris and Brenda may have had 3 clients in 30 days, but it wasn't easy. Okay. The second premise I want to start with is we have a lot of people in the room who've been in the business more than 15 years. Yes? Mm-hmm. We have some new people. And I'm going to pick on Chris a little bit.
He likes it.
And I'm picking on myself too, because the reason that we 2 or 3 weeks ago decided to vastly change our commission structure was because we've had the same commission structure for 10 years, 12 years. I've been banging my head against that same wall for 12 years. And maybe at some point it's time to change. I know, and I'm going to pick on Cheryl for a moment. Cheryl has a lot of referral business, and there's nothing wrong with her referral business. It's fabulous. But at some point, we also have to adopt newer things. Chris and Brenda, when they got here, we ordered these big white phone books that had all the addresses and the phone numbers in them. What were they, Polk?
Yep.
And we would do cold calling out of them forever and ever. And I'm not saying that won't work. But there was no Facebook back then. There was no Instagram back then. There were no other things that you could add to your marketing. So what I like about moving to a new city and looking at what this gal's starting with, we have to always go back to those beginning steps, reevaluate our business, figure out what's new, and add to it what has happened in our society. I'll give you one more example. 5 years ago, you could take a buyer out, show them the house that hit the market on the weekend, let them think about it for a week. Hopefully it wouldn't go away, but it could, but it was less likely. And then they could write an offer and they'd, be 1 or 2 competing for it. Nowadays, it hits the market and you want to be out there at 10 o'clock in the morning so it won't be gone before you have a chance to see it. We had to adapt to where the market took us. Don't be afraid to adapt what you're doing. I'm still showing houses. I'm still searching the MLS. I'm still getting people qualified, but I had to change the timing. I had to change my routine to make sure my client was taken care of, correct? Isn't that logical? I want to hear big uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, that's better.
You can take a look.
So how many people here read day 1?
Chapter 1.
Or did we only
Yes.
do day 1 or did we did
Day
all
1,
of
chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Day 1, chapter 1.
Did it.
Okay. I told you, even if you hadn't read, you could show up here. I learned this from Chris and Brenda a long time ago. Day 1, my why and goal setting. How many people here have gone to revisit your why in the last 2 years? 3? That's what I expected. Actually, I didn't expect that many. But the fact is, every year we offer some goal setting, and maybe in the goal setting we delve more into the numbers. We got to start with the why. If you don't know why you're doing this, if you don't know where you're going with it, you got no reason to keep going. Now, me, I just say I'm going to grow this brokerage as big as I can get it. That's my why. But I've been doing that for 10 years and I had to look at, well, my why's still there, but I'm not getting it. What do I have to do to get that? So write down the answer to what do I want to get out of this 30-day challenge. Now, we're going to go over this 1 and 2. And then next week, you're going to come back having done that. I'm just telling you. Plus, there will be some reading. But you need to know why. What do you want to get out of this 30-day challenge? I'll bet Francesca sitting over there would like to walk away as a brand new agent with 3 clients in the next month, right? Yes, there you go. She's got mechanics to learn. She's also got getting clients. She's got to do a lot more than you guys. You already know the mechanics. So she's going to be our class leader. She will have 3 clients at the end of the month while learning all the other stuff you guys already know. How about that? Can you rise to that challenge? Chris?
3 clients mean 3 clients you're working with or 3 contacts?
Can't hear.
You got to talk in the microphone.
Does 3 clients mean 3 contracts or 3 clients you're working with?
I believe it's 3 clients you're working with. Because if you're working with a client who's actively trying to sell their home or buy a home, you'll eventually get them to a contract.
3 new clients.
Not somebody you're working with now,
3 new clients.
3 brand new clients. And she says, take that deeper motivation and write it on a 3x5 card. Now, Tulio is the king of 3x5 cards. But how many people have their goals stuck up on the mirror in their bathroom? Chris, you don't have goals stuck up on your bathroom anymore?
No,
Ah,
that's the affirmations.
affirmations are up on your wall?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about affirmations in a bit. Can't everybody have one goal that they could look at every day and say, that's why. That's why. Write out your perfect life. Now, I'm not going to make you write out your perfect life. I'm going to say that it would be a good idea to. Like Sandra, she wanted a perfect backyard, and now she has it. Congratulations on achieving that.
It's in process.
That paragraph could be career, family, finances, relationships, community involvement, spiritual, health, and personal growth. Any of those could be goals you want to get. And you have to work that into what we do for a living. Because if your goal is to be health and personal growth, you got to work a little harder on some areas of real estate because it can get very emotional very quickly. And it can really get to your psyche if you let it. So you have to work on that. That's part of the roadmap we've got to write to get there. Based on those, write down a 5-year and a 1-year goals, long-term goals. Chris, you got long-term goals? Still alive? Okay, that's a good one. Especially how many guns you have. Cheryl.
Point out kind of a little bit of a difference. Use you, Greg.
Please.
What is a goal for you? A specific measurable goal. What is one?
I'm puzzled. A specific goal.
Okay, anybody.
Okay, I'll throw one out. I'd like to visit Hawaii every year. I know that
Okay.
sounds simplistic.
So that is that is your goal, and that is measurable. It's specific. It's very clear. That is a goal.
Mhm.
The why. I want to ask you, Greg, why do you want to go there?
I'm at more peace there than anywhere else on the earth.
That's your why. Okay. There's a difference between the why and the goal. The goal is how you get to your why. So
Thank you.
when we're talking about the why, it is the thing that we are striving for. That is, I want to be a good mother. Why? I want to be a good mother because. Okay, so that's the difference between goal and why.
So what's your goal?
Oh, every category you should have a why in every category.
Fair enough. And you know, I appreciate everybody's input, so don't be shy. I read some of this book and I know some of you haven't, but these are not things that we've never heard before. These are things we've heard over the years. We forget to go back and revisit them.
If I can interject here, one of the things I've learned recently is, and I have it on my board even, when you just sit down and you write, who do I want to be? What is my goal? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And why do I want to be there? Each day when you come into the office or get up in the morning, ask yourself, when you come across a problem or a circumstance, ask yourself, what would my future person do in this situation? So for instance, I'm a procrastinator. So when I get up,
Really?
so when I get up in the morning and I don't want to get dressed, I stop and say, what does my future person do in this situation? And so whenever you're asking yourself, what's that future person going to do? Then you're going to do it and you're going to develop those habits to achieve those goals.
I like that. One of the things I highlighted then in the next paragraph, the one thing that she wrote, the one thing I've learned is that no one ever gets anywhere if they don't have a vision. You know, I could stay in bed all day long, get up and go to the bathroom, eat, and go back to bed and watch television all day long. I never have to get out of bed and I could be a happy camper. Fair enough, but it is coming to work and doing something that I think benefits not only me, but others, that drives me every day. I don't keep this company going because it's making me a lot of money. I keep this company going because of all you guys. I like trying to serve you. I like trying to help you get where you want to be. Sounds kind of silly, I know, but anyway.
We
Hey,
appreciate it.
Greg. We learned something a while ago, and it fits into what you're saying, your goal, what you do. There is a point in your life when you transition from working and doing every day and gathering. You've made that. Then you move into changing significance, where your whole point is, I can make a living whenever I want. I can make as much money as I want. That's fine. Now I need to change people's lives. I need to do other people right. So you move into a phase of significance.
Serving.
Yeah, you're serving all along, especially in our business. But then it moves from, I need to survive, I need to make money, I need to do it, to I can make the money to survive. How do I make enough money, and how do I do something so I can do for other people, so we can change other people's lives? And I think that feeds into what you're saying. You could have stayed home. You could have kept selling. You could have done whatever you wanted to do, but you run a brokerage to help people change their lives. And
I'm
we
going to
do
get
too.
red in a minute.
Well, we do too. I mean, all of us do.
We're good
You know,
examples.
Well, thank you.
we all try to change people's lives, but it comes from, being in a place.
And we all have our own levels of where we rise to or where we want to be. There's nothing wrong with that. She says, now that you've and I highlighted some stuff, that's why I'm reading it. For example, you might have said, I want to make more money. Well, why do you want to make more money? And Cheryl pointed that out beautifully. Why do you want to go to Hawaii? Because I'm at peace there. Well, if that's what you want to achieve, not go to Hawaii. I love that example. That was wonderful.
It is a good example. However, you might want to peel it back one more layer, like an onion. Well, why are you at peace in Hawaii? Or why is peace important to you? So, continue to ask yourselves why, and get
Oh,
to
I
that.
know where the level is.
I'm just using it as an illustration. People need to think why. And go
No, I
deeper.
agree. So for me, Oahu is not Hawaii. Oahu is a big city like Las Vegas on an island. Okay. I don't relax there. I go to Kauai or Maui more, where the You know, the speed limit's 30, there's a 2-lane road, there's lots of trees, there's lots of nature, there's water, there's wells, and I'm at peace around all of that surrounding. I'm not at peace in Vegas on an island. That doesn't do it for me. So, you know, you're right. You peel back the layers. Thank you, Len. I know my next 30 days following this plan are going to be a challenge. So identifying my true why is important, because you will get frustrated along the way. Why am I spending time on Instagram? Why am I spending time sending out emails? Why am I doing? Because I'm not seeing any results right now. But those steps will lead you there. You can do this one on your own, or you can read this on your own. In each category of those things in life, we talked about spirituality and your health and all of those things. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to pick on Chris again. I'd love to pick on you, Chris. There was a time a few years ago where Chris's belly was getting a little bigger. And Chris's sciatic and back problems were giving him a lot of issue. And Chris has been working out for 3 years now, 4 years, 2 years. And his health, his mobility, the way he feels about himself, those are great. Those steps didn't happen by going to the gym twice. He had to go every day and adjust his diet and to get to the point where his back isn't killing him as much, where he's moving around better, where he feels better. It takes time to do this stuff. It doesn't happen in the first 2 days.
So pain-free. Pain-free could have been one of your whys.
Yeah, the big change was when I had my heart event, when I almost died. It changed my mental outlook on life. There just ain't much that's that big of a deal anymore. You know, I mean, we all need to make money. Don't get me wrong, but that changed my whole outlook on how to be. Right. Then I looked at my body and said, no wonder you almost died. Over 300 pounds, never went to the gym, haven't done any real physical activities since my 30s. Right. And we changed everything. Goals changed. I needed to be healthy. I needed to not break down by the time I was 60. You know, I never lifted weights in my life. Now I lift weights, and I wrote this down. I just showed Kyle. Obviously, Kyle had been in the gym a few times, right? Kyle and I worked together. I told him my goal by the time I'm 57 is I'm going to bench 315. Okay, that's a lot of weight, right? I'm, you know.
But why? Why do you want to bench 315?
Because the stronger my body gets now, when I said I want to live long, I wasn't kidding. The stronger my body will be. When I stop working out, my body hurts. You got to keep it going. You got to keep it going. It'll just keep me healthy. I want to go backpacking when I'm 80. I want to go walking around the mountains of Colorado when I'm 85 years old. I don't want to sit in a chair and be all, So it's a goal.
When I was 28, I decided to learn how to play soccer. That is an old man to, right, Tulia? 28 is old to learn soccer. Okay. My goal was to try out for the Wichita Wings.
Wow.
And you guys are all going, really? What's wrong with you, Greg? Probably when I was about 35, I tried out for the Wings and I made it to the final cut of open tryouts. I have no idea why I liked the game. I just know I loved it and I felt good when I played it, and I got there. And after that, I started backing off because I had achieved the level that I thought I was going to achieve. Maybe I set my goal too low. I don't know. 35 is old to start playing professional soccer. If you don't know, trust me, it is. But it was a goal and it worked. it can take several years to get there. And like Chris said on the lifting weights, lifting 315, he may not even know arbitrarily why he came up with that number, but overall, he knows why he wanted to lift weight. Right? So one of the things that she wrote in here, abundance is a whole spectrum of your life. And I love where Chris took us on this because we're right there. The way you feel about yourself, your accomplishments, and where you're at in life is a huge part of what I mean by abundance. It's not just money, it's family, it's your kids, it could be your dogs, it could be your garden, it could be I want to try a new career, I want to change careers. It could be the freedom of being in this business, which isn't really true. We don't have freedom, but you know, we think we do. It could be a lot of things. Being your own boss is abundant to me. I like being my own boss. I don't want somebody else telling me what to do. Tracy, you didn't hear that, right? Oh, she's gone. Okay. And this is an important one to me. And again, everybody chime in where you want to. Maybe you've been plugging along without setting goals. And if you started setting goals, you would start saying, hey, I reached the next step. Anybody have an idea of why that reaching the next step is really important? Yeah, Cheryl, go ahead.
It's measurable. You can celebrate the wins.
So when I first started in real estate, I was at JP Wygant. The first 9 months I was in, I sold 3 houses. And I thought, oh my, this is not going to work. And then the next 3 months I was there, I sold 9 houses. So in the first year, I sold 12. The first few months, I would go home from work and say, honey, today I learned how to work the MLS and I talked to this guy, maybe he'll want to buy a home and blah, blah, blah. And one day she asked one of my friends, it was Larry Stover, was a salesman there who passed away since. She asked Larry, why does he keep coming home telling me what he did all day? And Larry said, because he's a salesman. It may take 9 months before he gets the next sale. He wants you to know he's not just sitting on his butt doing nothing. But it's also self-affirmation for you guys. I did something today. What did you do? Getting out of bed is not the highlight of my day. I want you to know that. Anybody else have similar experiences to share along that line about your individual goals and steps?
Oh,
Go ahead, Angela. Talking to the microphone.
Well, I'll admit I'm struggling to organize my steps on things I'm trying to do. But I saw a little thing on Instagram. It's kind of funny, but it talked about how your habits today on what you eat, how you exercise, every little thing you do is who you're going to be in the next 5 years. So whatever you're doing today, it just said that your habits end up being what you become. So I am working on that physically. I'm like Chris, I'm 55 and I have some arthritis issues and health is more important as you're aging. And so I'm also working on that. And I feel better just doing some Pilates, yoga, taking care of that. But you also don't work as efficiently if you're not feeling good. You just don't.
You know, we used to, and I think it still happens. Maybe I'm just not in touch as much as I used to be. We would hire people away from other companies, and maybe Elena can speak to this. And they were not happy where they were. They didn't feel like there was confidence in their work. There was no freedom in their work. And they would come here and start feeling good. And amazingly, their sales started going up. Elena, have your sales gone up since you've been here?
but I have.
Microphone.
I loved everyone there. I'm gonna say that they were all amazingly great and I miss them too. But we did not have any technology over there. So I didn't know how to work the website. I didn't know how to get the CRM. I got all my people in the CRM over there and it lost it. So that was very frustrating. And then you ask for help and they say, we don't know. Well, who knows? Because I need help, right? So yeah, it's more freeing to know and more empowering to know
Mhm.
that we don't have an IT team. We have teachings that makes us our own IT team, except for when my computer crashes or something. But and that Greg will, he says, I don't know, but I have the confidence that he'll get back to me and say, I did find this out or whatever. So I know it's not just out there in la la land, because I can't let that stuff go in my mind. I need to know that that stuff is taken care of. And so, yeah, so.
And in no
speaking of
way
that-
was, in no way was I trying to say that you didn't like somebody there. That wasn't the point. It was more of, there was something frustrating you in your mind that was taking up space that you couldn't dedicate that space to your clients.
So I have a lot more freedom that way to grow. Like yesterday I said, hey, Lynn's people are getting surveys. I must be missing a button on how to send my people surveys. And he says, put their email in and they'll get a survey. So I don't know. I mean, it was a step that I missed, but I didn't know where, where that was. So I do appreciate that. And yeah, I have been able to, like grow, I guess. More. So yeah.
Anybody else want to share along that line? Okay, then. But Donna, you learning anything?
We're glad you're here.
Yep. It's very important to write daily goals. Now, I'm absolutely horrible at writing daily goals. But as Chris said, partially I don't write them because I can't read my own writing. There is that. But partially, I have in my brain already the 6 things I'm going to accomplish today and the 6 things I'm working on from yesterday and what's going on. They are listed in my brain. I don't know how I've been blessed with that ability, but it works for me. Does not work for lots of people. That's why Cheryl still uses a book and she has a to-do list in her book. I don't have a book. I've watched Brenda list home. She's got a notebook. She goes through about 5 a month, I think, easily. Yeah, because she writes down everything. Okay. And those become goals. Now, she probably doesn't start the day. I'm going to write down my 5 or 6 goals. And I'm going to ask you guys for a while, maybe between now and next week, write down 6 goals a day, whatever those goals might be. Chris might say he wants to go to the gym in the morning. Then he wants to come to the office and he wants to see the new listings on the MLS. But write down some goals so you'll feel that accomplishment. And then we'll start extending the goals a little bit.
Okay, so here's what I'll tell you is that 6 is hard at the beginning. I would actually start at 3 because what it is you're not writing goals. You're writing non-negotiable things that you are going to get done come hell or high water, because you're not always going to be motivated to accomplish the things that need to be done. You have to be disciplined and you have to build that discipline from somewhere. So I would say start at 3 if you are not already a disciplined person, and choose your 3 non-negotiables. And when you start, you pick dumb stuff like, I'm going to make my bed today. Okay.
For
Because
me, it's getting out of bed.
the whole thing is, if you are consistently accomplishing your 3 non-negotiables, then you go to 4, then you go to 5, then you go to 6, and you start focusing them more on accomplishing that big, I'm going to have 3 clients by the end of this 30 days. But you're building that discipline because you're not always going to be motivated. You'll have discipline. And if you can fall back on that, guaranteed you will be successful.
I love what you said. I don't agree with the 6 versus 3 because I'm going to eat lunch. I know. But, and it's okay to have a goal to do things you currently do, but add stuff in there. But I like this line she puts in the middle of the next paragraph. We're in a marathon. We're not in a sprint. You cannot, yeah, I promise it. You cannot pick up the phone today and have 3 clients. Well, most of you can't. Some of you might be able to do that. We're trying to get 3 clients over a period of time. Chris tried to get healthier over a period of time. I learned computers over a period of time. I didn't start off and, oh God, how long ago was that? 95, learning about computers when the most memory back then was 72K. You know, it was, and a 20 megabyte hard drive was a big deal, you know. So you don't learn what you know over a 100-yard sprint. You learn it as a marathon. Chris?
I just wanted to add something to the goal thing. You know, what Kim and Greg are saying is right on the money. Just something that I did personally, take it for what it's worth. When you set a goal for a day, whether it's 3, whether it's 6, 4, whatever it happens to be, it has to be something that is important to you. But I am a big believer that there has to be a reward to your goal. So I think people will get very, what is the word I'm looking for? Demotivated if the only reward to your goal is satisfaction that you did the goal, right? Because then the goals will start to go away. So a small goal gets a small reward. So if I eat my lunch today, if I make 17 calls today, if I, you know, whatever your goal is, you know, then I can go home and I can watch my favorite show. I can go get a massage if you guys have money for that, you know what I mean? But I believe that you have to attach goals to some reward other than self-satisfaction of the goal getting done. Because if the only reward for your goals getting done is your self-satisfaction, eventually you'll just lower your goals. Because I can be satisfied with a lot less and a lot less and a lot less. But if I attach it to something tangible, then you'll drive a little harder. Just musings.
Cheryl?
It's been shown, I mean, Harvard studies, whatever, that writing a goal is always better to write your goals. But going a little bit further, people, humans, we will do more to avoid pain than we do to gain pleasure. So the reward of meeting a goal is a good thing, but to associate a pain with not getting that goal is more powerful.
I'm only going to disagree with you because I've been reading several books now on how to train dogs. And they train over and over again that if you are trying to get a dog to do something, a reward is better than negative reinforcement. Now, I also agree with you. It's very easy for me to say my reward is to go home into a heated house. It's not a new heated house. And a new heated house would be more of an award than, you know, reward. So I'm not fully disagreeing with you. I'm just saying in general, I like rewards over pain, personally.
Let's associate this, like for me personally.
Sure.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been at the office 2 days in a row at 9 o'clock in the morning. Go me. And that was just for this, you know,
No, I get it.
for these 2 days. I've been trying to get myself into the office at 9 o'clock in the morning for a long time. And for 2 days in a row, I've actually done it this week. Now,
Come on, everybody.
now
Let's applaud her.
my reward could have been getting you guys to clap for me, whatever. But that's not why I came here. I came here because I associated Ken and I had a bet that if I don't do this, I'm going to have to blank. And it was painful.
Okay.
So
then.
I did more to avoid that pain than I would have to gain a pleasure, whether it's whatever reward it would have been.
Well,
And it's G rated, y'all. Get out of the nasty.
let me thank you for that.
Know better. We know better. We know better. I call bullshit on that.
Is it G for gross?
Yeah.
I'll share with you if you promise not to tell my wife, Tracy. I like to come to the office because then I don't have to clean the house.
That is to avoid pain.
That's to avoid pain. So I'll give you that one. But I also get a reward for doing the things that I do every day and working and helping you guys and so on. But it's true, she only works part-time. And if I'm at the office 5 or 6 days a week, I don't feel guilty if I'm not cleaning the house. Silly as it sounds. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna piggyback on that idea. You know, there's that old trap, puzzle, right? The puzzle that, if someone had a gun to your spouse's head and you liked your spouse, we'll say, if someone had a gun to your spouse's head and told you to go get 3 clients in 30 days, could you do it? Would you do it? What would you do to get it done? Same thing as Cheryl saying, if you treat, I can go get 3 clients in 30 days and my spouse lives and walks away. Awesome. You would do anything to get that done. Why are you not doing that now?
I'm telling you, associate pain.
So,
Instead
I
of-
mean, I'll give you an example, and Kim and I can laugh about this because it's super funny. Was it a year ago or 2 years? No, 2 years ago must have been. Brenda and I had to go somewhere, and at the time, she didn't want to give up her phone. She didn't want to stop calling her clients. She didn't want to do anything, even though Kim told her, "I have this. Give me your phone. I will take care of it." So our coach at the time told Brenda, "Here's the deal. If you make one call during this trip, if you talk to a client, if you do anything and don't let Kim handle it all, you have to write $1,000 check to the political party that you hate
Oh,
Oh,
as
that
a,
is a good example.
as a campaign donation." Now, anybody that knows Brenda knows exactly who she hates. So it was an amazing motivator, and she had to write out the check and sign it with that dollar amount and left it with Kim. And if she did anything, it was to be mailed.
That's some serious avoiding pain.
Wow.
That's awesome.
holy moly. I'm gonna have to use that one.
And of course, she didn't do it, and Kim took care of everything, and it was amazing, and it all worked out well, but it was that motivation that got her to do it.
So here's the deal. I'm just going to try to cover chapter 2 today as well. I don't think so. I think we've done enough.
That first chapter was 55 pages.
I know. And there was a lot in there because you have to do some soul searching. You really do. We'll start moving a little faster, but there's some assignments here at the end she gave you. Yes, ma'am. You've got my homework?
What?
Did you make copies?
Serious?
Oh, man.
Cute. Aw.
Thank you. Okay, so read the homework. But this is what she left us. Visualize your day and see yourself succeeding. You got to get that in your thoughts. You've got to be positive, because in this business, lots of businesses, but in this business, I was telling Francesca yesterday, and she looked at me like I was, deer in headlights nuts. I said, real estate agents get very emotional, and they'll start telling you how wrong you are and picking on you personally and stuff. And that hurts, because we take it personally when they tell us something personally. You need to be able to give yourself some positive reinforcement to get over that pain. And then you got to get thicker skin, and you've got to learn the arguments and the art of arguing. There's an art to that as well. But give yourself that succession. Tell yourself when you succeed. Know why you're doing this every day. Give thanks. Boy, I love that one. Whatever your religion or not, you can give thanks that today, if you don't have a higher power, that's your business. You can still give thanks for where you're at. There's nothing wrong. You can be thanking yourself. Start visualizing at night what your next day is going to look like. Know what you're leaving on the table. Every day I go home, there's more I could be doing, but I'm to the point I need to go home and finish tomorrow.
Or if you had a chance to redo something, how would you do it differently?
Amen. I like that. How would you have changed something today if you could have done it better?
To have my basement not leaking. We found it.
And keep the cats out of the walls.
100%. 100%.
If you can at night, write down the 5 or 6 things you're going to do tomorrow. You know, number 1, get out of bed. Number 2 could be making the bed. I make the bed every other day religiously. Give yourself permission to dream. We all have dreams. I dream that someday my grandchildren are going to buy me a house in Hawaii. And I started that in high school, drilling that into them. You need to grow up, do really good in school so you get good grades so that you can buy me a home in Hawaii next to a golf course and your mom gets a painting studio. That's my dream. Darn kids aren't fulfilling it yet. So do that and read chapter 2. Now, chapter 2 is on branding. So it's a little bit more serious. And that can get into your daily, I'm going to think about planning or branding. I'm going to, tomorrow, one of my steps is to read chapter 2. But next week, what I'd like to come back and do is let's get everybody to visit a little bit about our successes, what worked, what didn't work. We can help each other try to figure out, different options if something didn't work. And then let's talk about branding. And we'll start moving that 30 days starting next week. Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
There's one thing that I read one time where, well, actually a guy told me to do it. He said, take yourself to a solitary place, either a library, a coffee shop or something. Sit there and really go deep within yourself and say, what does my business look like? How am I as a person? What do I want out of my business? And what do I want my business to look like? And just really go deep and decide your goal. It's a goal, but it's more of a vision. Decide your vision. That'll give you an opportunity to write your what do you call those things where you have a
Vision statement.
vision statement and that type of thing. So I think that was the best advice that I was given, is to just get in solitude and really just go deep and just think.
Chris, you had something?
Finish your thought.
One of my favorite examples of in this entire office is Tulio. He comes in every day on a schedule. He reads his cards. He calls his people. It's a very religious thing with him. There's not a day that I've seen him miss. I swear, I think he's in Colombia calling people when he takes vacation. Right?
Probably.
So-
He needs that Brenda's deal.
but I'm going to put you on the spot now. Do you know why you're doing that? That's the hard one, isn't it?
I bet you can figure it out.
Because I like to talk with my people. To know how is the meeting.
I can't hear.
Try to help.
Microphone.
Because I like to talk with my people to know what they need, because sometimes it's not just sell a house, it's help them to start the new life.
That's the why.
That's the why. So what I'm asking you to do is put some thought, no matter how scheduled you think your life is. Put some thought into what is your why. Chris?
But add, or not add, but ask one thing. I just want to ask one thing. So I'm new to this whole book club thing with you guys, but we're supposed to get 3 clients in 30 days. I get that. And you guys can do goals and stuff like that. My question is, what are you guys, what are we supposed to do to change that, to get that? Is there an assignment? Like, you guys got to make 10 calls, you got to go knock on doors, you got to hold open houses. How are you going to change your world to make that happen?
Well, and what
Or does
we're
that come later?
that comes.
Okay.
So if you move to a new city, you got to figure out your why again. Her next thing is, how are you going to brand yourself in that new city? Then after that, what do you do day 3, day 4, day 5? So there is a whole plan laid out in there of what you're going to do if you're in a new city.
Very
Now, some of the-
specific instructions in the first chapter. She has very detailed, specific instructions.
So yeah, those changes are coming. If you don't know why, it doesn't matter what you're changing. So that's the progression.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure, because I love all this deep introspective stuff,
Are
but
you doing this with us? You gonna do the book with us?
well, yeah, we're gonna do it. I didn't read the book, Kim read the book. We're gonna see what it's about, because I mean, this is what we do every day. But so I just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing something, because all the deep introspective stuff is great, but you know.
So to
gotta
give you
make some calls.
So to give you an idea, day 2 is pick your branding, make a slogan, that kind of stuff. Day 3 is set up social media. Day 4 is record videos. So there's a step along the way. We just got to get a start here. Sure. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording.
Awesome stuff. Thank you. Good selection. Good book.